Hi folks, today we're diving into two of the most popular greens products on the market right now. We'll be discussing Live It Up and AG1 from Athletic Greens. Before we dive in, this video is sponsored by Live It Up, who have partnered with me for this video. That being said, everything in this video is my unbiased opinion. As a registered dietitian, it is very important to keep my ethics about supplements, and I am not receiving any commission off of any supplements that I talk about on this video or on my channel. Now you might be asking, especially because AG1 is so popular, why might someone be looking for an alternative? It could be for cost or specific ingredients or just giving a smaller brand a chance. Now, greens powders in general can be a very convenient and just practical way for many people to get in more nutrients for a variety of reasons. Just a way to conveniently boost the intake of overall nutrient density. Greens products specifically have become increasingly popular for people who are looking at ways of just getting in more nutrition, especially when access to diverse varieties of plants are limited. They can be really helpful for people who are in a very busy season, or for those with challenges. Maybe they can do some meal prep, some veggie prep, but not for all of the veggies in the overall day. And we can't really see greens powders as all good or all bad. There's a time and a place where they can be a very helpful tool for many. Just as with any kind of supplement, I'm going to recommend that you run that through your doctor, just in case you're on certain medications or have some chronic conditions going on where it maybe wouldn't be the most aligned and maybe contraindicated. Now, if you're aware of my channel, many of you have appreciated my thoughts about greens powders and just supplements in general. And so I do have a newer, more detailed, informative video regarding greens products and some other popular products as well. So I'll leave that linked up if you want to check that out. But regarding this video, we're going to be talking about those two leading brands specifically, because that is really what I aim to do as a registered dietitian. Just giving more information so you can feel more empowered with your nutrition choices. So if all that sounds good to you, let's go. All right, so starting off with Live It Up, it is one of the best tasting greens products that I have tried. It has a minty flavor, and when you mix it with water, especially like really cool water, it tastes very refreshing. But that is by far not the most important thing when it comes to me as a registered dietitian. For some people, the flavor is gonna be most important, but really the ingredients for me is where I tend to spend more of my time and priority on. Now, Live It Up does test for any kind of like contaminants, heavy metals, fillers, and so that was one of the reasons why I was drawn to them, because that's important. You know, supplements are regulated a lot differently from food, and especially a lot differently from medications, and sometimes there are supplements that the labels don't accurately represent what is actually in the product, and there might be contaminants or fillers or other concerning kind of just factors around that. And so that was really important to me. And then another thing that was important to me is that when we're looking at the ingredients list, so in general, ingredients lists go by order of basically like how much of that specific ingredient is in the actual product. And so the very first thing is going to be the highest amount of that, and the very last thing is going to be the lowest amount of that ingredient specifically. And so when I look at the ingredients for Live It Up, they are things that I don't typically get in my intake. Now, a lot of greens powders, there are some that are more of like broccoli or kale or spinach, and those are fine. Like that's great to have that. And you know, this has some of that as well, but if that is the base of it, those are typically going to be the vegetables that I go to already in a fresh form or frozen for broccoli. And so when I'm looking for a greens product, I want something with a little bit different variety, things that I don't typically get on a daily basis. And so I really appreciated that with Live It Up, it has the wheatgrass, the barley grass, and then also sea ingredients, the chlorella, the moringa, the spirulina, things that I don't typically get when it comes to sea. I normally just have like salmon. Another thing, as a registered dietitian, one of my areas of practice and specialty is digestive health. And a lot of the people who I work with are coming to me just with feelings of discomfort, gas, bloating, and more. Now, for a lot of greens products, they are going to include things like chicory root or inulin, just prebiotics, like types of fiber that help support a microbiome, a healthy microbiome, the food for the healthy bacteria. But if there is some imbalance in that area, if there are some concerns, then supplementing that specifically can lead to more discomfort, more gas, more bloating. And so with the ingredients in here, that was also something that I appreciated. It was something that my digestive health clients could potentially, if it would make sense for them, because again, there's not going to be a supplement that is perfect for everyone. That's not how it works. But if it just made sense for a greens product to be used in addition to everything else that we were doing, everything else that they're focusing on, then this was just one of the options that we could look at. Now, there are probiotics in here. There's 5 billion colony forming units, which is a great amount. Of course, it depends on how much actually gets through the digestion process into the large intestine, the colon, for the healthy microbiome blend, like just the environment in there overall. Probiotics are not going to be recommended for everyone. And so again, when I'm working with my digestive health people, I also, look at the broader picture related to that. But what I like about the probiotics that are specifically in Live It Up is that they are well researched. They are found in what we would consider like generally healthy colonies, microbiome wise, like found in healthy digestive systems. And so I appreciated that. On the flip side, one of the things that I wish, and this is because of a proprietary blend, but I understand, proprietary blends, that's basically your recipe. And so it makes sense. At the same time, for herbs specifically, I really like to know exactly what the amount is, even though it's on the lower side. It's not an herb focused supplements, so that's good because I want it to be more focused on the vegetables, the plants in that way. But just with any kind of herb, that's where just being aware if you are on certain medications or if you have any chronic conditions, just to kind of be aware with that. Just check that with your doctor, talk to your registered dietitian. Now, there are also 3 grams of dietary fiber in Live It Up, which can be helpful for just overall fiber intake. Fiber intake is supportive for regular digestion and also helping to manage healthy blood sugar levels. But as a registered dietitian, recommending something like Live It Up, if it makes sense, is something that I feel comfortable with if it would make sense for someone to use a greens product in general. And at the same time, we can also work on other ways to enhance our overall nutrient intake. Integrating it into a balanced intake and consulting with a healthcare provider is recommended, just as it would be for any supplement, so we can reduce the risk of potential over nutrition consumption, like nutrient excess, so we don't get too much of anything. But that also leads me to something else on the supplements label for Live It Up. You'll see that most of those are going to be in daily values, well below the 100%, but still significant. That is really important to me also as a registered dietitian, because sometimes people feel like they want to go for the supplements that say 100% on all the daily values, but in reality, you're not just eating that for the whole day. It's meant to complement what you're doing. And so because of that, we don't want to have something that is giving us 100% every single day of all of the nutrients in there. So that's also something that I really appreciate as well. All right, so let's talk about AG1 by Athletic Greens. This has by far, I think, been the most popular that I have seen. Now, this does distinguish itself with the NSF certification for sport. Working also as a sports dietitian with professional athletes, it is important to me that if it does make sense for them to take a supplement, that we know that it's going to be safe when they're taking any kind of test that they need to take. That just in general, they are a bigger brand, and so I would expect for them to have that, but that is definitely a positive. Now, they have a blend overall. There's spirulina, dietary fibers, various grasses, various fruits and vegetables, things like broccoli, carrot, beetroot, pineapple, papaya, berries. Now, that diversity, it feels like it seems really impressive, especially when we think about the other blends that are in there. There's a mushroom blend, there's various herbs, there's a lot of overall ingredients. And so one of my concerns just for ingredients, when we're looking at an ingredients label that is super long, when we break it down in a scoop, we might be getting a smaller portion of that. The portion of that, is that even a significant amount of that ingredient? It's a whole idea of sometimes less is more. Now for their mushroom blend, usually typical doses are going to be higher when we're talking about mushrooms, but when I was trying this, I was kind of glad for that it was lower, because I do have an autoimmune condition. I have Hashimoto's, and so when we're thinking about supplementing with mushrooms, we have to be aware of their potential impact on the immune system. Potentially, there's just a recommendation to be aware if you do have an autoimmune condition, if you're taking something like a mushroom supplement or a supplement that includes mushrooms in there, as it could kind of increase immune function, which is not something that we would necessarily want to do if you have an autoimmune condition. Or if you're someone on immunosuppressants there's a specific reason for that, then definitely get this checked by your doctor before trying. Now, AG1 also has 7.5 billion colony forming units in their probiotic blend. Again, these probiotics are going to be some of the more popular ones as far as related to like the evidence-based, the efficacy of them, their support in like a general healthy microbiome. Of course, not everybody is going to benefit from a probiotic. Some people it would be not recommended, contraindicated as well, and so just adds to that kind of recommendation I mentioned at the beginning to get it checked by your doctor before just kind of taking a supplement. The effectiveness of any kind of probiotic blend really depends a lot on how they go during the digestion process. There are a lot of various herbs. There's a significant amount of antioxidants in AG1, and so just take it into consideration of overall intake. If somebody is generally healthy already, taking more, again, not necessary, could be contraindicated. It might be more beneficial for someone with a less nutrient-rich intake overall, who maybe wouldn't be drawn to them in the first place. The high antioxidant content can be a little excessive, especially for generally healthy people who might be drawn to it. Now, the taste of AG1 was one of my favorites. It has kind of a pineapple taste, so that's a little bit different in the world of the greens that I have tried, but it is going to be a higher price. I think it's just a bigger brand overall. To me, that cost could be more justified if there is a higher need for nourishment, for that kind of nutrient intake. But for the person who is generally getting in, fruits and vegetables, then it seemed a little bit steep. Absolutely. And remember, greens products in general, they're not like necessary for health. They're just going to be something that can be a helpful tool for some. Now, for those of you who are interested in trying Live It Up Greens, I do have a code, Unlocked10. Remember, I do not receive any commission off of supplements, just with how I want to run my channel, but you can use that to get a small discount. If you're interested, if it makes sense, then it could be a great opportunity to try to see how it fits into your overall nutrient regimen. Greens products can be helpful on certain days, especially on those days when it's just hard to get in a variety of plants. For some people, they might not have that problem, but for me, especially just with my neurodivergency, sometimes the executive functioning is just not where I need it to be to do food prep, or I'm just not like in the mood to have them like texture wise. Remember, always consult with your healthcare provider before starting any kind of new supplement routine, just to make sure that it's appropriate for your health. That wraps it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave any questions down below. I'll try to get to those. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.